What's up, guys?
Welcome back to another episode
of Whiskey and Water.
Guys, we're filming late in the day today.
Again, always a dangerous thing.
We always have an excuse for why we're not at 100%. But you know what?
But you know what? I feel like I am even at 110% because at this point I'm just delirious. So you guys are really getting like the best of us.
In our most raw and unfiltered versions.
We have a funny, hilarious, inspiring conversation today with our friend Michaela Okland. She is the owner, creator, founder of a Twitter account, She Rates Dogs, which is a funny spinoff off of our friend Matt, who does We Rate Dogs,
who we had on a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, so tell the people a little bit about She Rates Dogs.
So I'll tell you guys about Michaela as well.
But yeah, and like how you are friends with her, how you know her.
Yeah, so actually very similar story to Matt. I met her on Twitter, and we just became friends like a couple of years ago and remained internet friends. And then she started this account, She Rates Dogs, in December of 2018. So the minute she started that, like, it blew up pretty much overnight, and we talk about that a little bit in the episode. But yeah, we had her on today to talk about it and talk about like basically what it's transformed into, because, you know, it really started off as like a funny joke type of thing, and now she's been able to do some really powerful stuff with it. And yeah, and
like, you know, drop out of college like Matt, run the account, make a really successful merch line. She sells
been featured on Cosmopolitan, what was it,
Mashable, Funny or Die. But basically the account itself, for those of you who don't know, just posts screenshots of conversations between women and men, and the men being total just fucking prick bags, like disgusting scumbags. Like, some are like just really what's the word, cringy, and others are hilarious because you're like, what even is this conversation? But all of her content gets like thousands of millions of impressions, thousands of likes. Like, people, especially women, just resonate so much with it and just get a good laugh in, because guys, a lot of this content is just you just can't help but laugh at some of the shit that these men say. It's wild. It's completely wild.
I mean, all you can do is like laugh this shit off, because
laugh with other women and just all of us just laugh together, because it just,
yeah, if you guys, I mean, you know, we know that like the majority of our listeners are women, and if you guys haven't checked out this account before, definitely pull it up while you're listening to this episode.
Shout out to our fellas too. We love y'all too. We try not to generalize in the episode, but there is this specific breed of men that just sucks, and we dive all into it. We talk all about it.
Breed of men, get it?
Breed,
dogs.
Get it.
Ha.
But before we get into that, Jess and I have, of course, our catch up time. So, how you doing, brother? How you living?
Doing good, living. No, taking it day by day.
Day by day. Feel that.
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I'm gonna take a nap right here.
Honestly, but Jess and I actually saw each other a few days ago. We did our first like in-person shoot that we haven't done in a long time. It was with our friend Fro, the legend. He's an amazing photographer.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes. And we just went out into the middle of nowhere. We socially distanced and we just had some good vibes. And Jess and I had a really fun day together. We laughed like more than we've laughed like in the last few months combined. So that was a good time.
And even though it was like a shoot and we were kind of working, it was nice to like hang out and not work, you know, especially because we haven't seen each other in so long. We were like, oh my God, it's crazy that we're friends. Like outside of this podcast.
We're actually friends in real life, and we like forget that sometimes, but we had such a fun day. We were just like, I don't know, we were just in such a silly, like goofy mood. It was just such good vibes. So we did our shoot, and then I don't know how we ended up like Tell them about Bella.
So we were shooting down in Homestead where my family lives because we wanted like, deserted road vibes, and it's just easier to like, socially distance shoot down there because there's so much more space. And so Olivia's never met my dad. She's met my mom, and but she's never met my dad. So I was like, oh, like while we're down here, like let's just swing by and you can meet the rent. And so
I was like, she's bringing me home to meet her dad.
Yeah, right. And so we stopped by unannounced and hang out with my dad and his fiance for a bit, and she got to meet my baby brother. Oh, kind of. He was sleeping. But anyways, so I'm talking to my dad, and he's like, oh, you should stop by and see Bella. She's working at Dairy Queen. And me and Liv immediately look at each other, and we're like, hell yeah, brother.
We're like, we're riding out. Let's go fuck with her. Let's go fuck with her. Because what else would big sisters and big sisters' best friends do?
Exactly. So we're scheming. We're scheming on our way there. We're like, all right,
what are we gonna do? We gotta like make it good. Like we should drive up. And Jess is like, she's always like at the window taking orders. So then I was like, all right, let's fuck with her there. We'll like pretend. I was like, oh, I think I had the idea. I was like, let's put on a disguise. Like let's both like put disguises on. So we had hoodies on. We put the hoodies on. I put Jess's like fucking weird ass glasses. I look so Asian. I look like an old Asian woman. Like it was weird. I put the mask on, so which is like normal. Everyone's wearing masks, so that wasn't sketchy. And then we were like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna say? And I don't know how we came about it, but we decided that we were going to ask for something ridiculous, and the item
like an off-menu item.
Yeah, we're like, what would be like strange? Oh, you know what? It made me think of it. I thought of the SpongeBob episode with the pickles under the buns in the sandwich.
Yeah,
and then I was like, let's ask for a pickle blizzard. Oh my god! So take it.
So we roll up to the window, and it's not like the first window when you can't. I know my little sister's voice, obviously, and it's not her. And so I'm like, is Bella working? And I think that everyone can hear you on the same headset. Like, I think everyone can hear the order being placed. So she immediately pipes up and is like, hello? And I'm like, yeah, can I?
No, well, we also decided that I was driving, I was doing the order. We decided that I was gonna like, because I was like, wait, does she know my voice? Like, is she gonna recognize my voice? And Jess was like, yes, she will. So I was like, fuck, I have to do an accent. So I decided to do a country accent. I'm like, how there? Could I get a pickle blizzard? And she's like, what? I'm like, pickle blizzard. She's like, we don't have that. I'm like, oh yeah, you do. I ordered it last week.
And she goes,
okay.
And she's like, it's going to be $3.80 something. Pull up to the next window. And we're like, oh shit. Is she really about to make
it?
Yes. So we pull up to the next window, and obviously, like, since we had asked for her, something was already up. And we pull up to the next window, and she wasn't having it.
They were not having it. They were not fucking with it.
Not at all. In the slightest.
Not with the vibe. Not with the slightest. I pull up and I'm like, ooh, the vibe is not immaculate in there.
Well, because Bella hands us the blizzard, right? Which is like the ice cream with like pickles on top.
And yeah, mind you, she made an actual pickle blizzard, which is hilarious.
And we pull up like giddy as fuck, right? We're like, and like obviously we take off our things, and Liv goes, can I get the friends and family discount? And we take off our disguises, and she's like, the first thing she says is, you guys have to pay for this. And I'm like, I just surprised this bitch with my best friend, and the audacity.
My god, it was hilarious. Long story short, they were not fucking with it. She was like, "You have to pay for this. You have to pay for this." Yeah, I was like, "Okay, take my money. I'm sorry."
Yeah, and then she was like, "You guys are gonna get me in trouble," and we're like, I literally we look in the window, and I'm like, who am I gonna get you in trouble with?
I'm like, who do I have to talk to? What manager?
Yeah, and we're like, this did not pass the vibe check, and like they were just.
Anyways, whatever. We
wasn't
still
happening.
had fun. Dairy Queen, fucking chill and dine,
Grill and
whatever
chill?
the fuck. Grill and chill was not about our shit, but whatever.
Bitches.
We had a good time. If you guys want a pickle blizzard, they will make them for you. Tyler tried it.
They won't be happy about it.
He wasn't a fan, but it's there if you're curious.
And by the way, you can't add things at the window. So we were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna ask for like Oreo blizzards at the window,
so we can actually order something.
Nope, we had to walk away with just the pickle blizzard.
Shut us down. That I had to pay for $3.85.
I'll Venmo you, brother.
That I'll never get back. Okay, that was our day together. So we had a grand old time, as you can tell. But we won't hold you guys any longer. We'll get right into the episode with Michaela. We know you guys are gonna totally love it. If you guys are enjoying this so far, you already know what to motherfucking do. Post a screenshot on your story, tag us, let us know you're listening.
And that's that on supporting.
And that's on supporting your favorite podcast. Okay, bye guys. Enjoy.
Enjoy. We are here with Michaela. Hi, girl. How are you?
Hi. Good. Tired. Dead. I'm so ready for this to be over.
Yeah. I'm doing good. Just dead inside, but it's fine. Everything's fine. Same.
Yeah, I could lie, but...
How's your quarantine been going?
It's not terrible. I'm at my parents' house, and it's at the point where it's been too long at my parents' house. Which always happens, but like it's not bad because they have like a house on a lake, so I get to like go for walks and stuff, which is better. Than,
feed your ducks.
Like my apartment, yeah. There's a lot of ducks. I'm actually moving right now too, from Arizona to California, which is kind of stressful because I can't really go to showings or like do all that stuff. And that's kind of the most annoying thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like everyone like kind of went home for the quarantine, and then like the past 2 weeks is like almost everyone instantaneously got fed up like being at home.
They're like regretting it.
Yeah, they're like, all right, I have like people are like finally going back to their homes. Like my roommate is finally moving back in, and I'm so grateful because my lonely ass has fucking been here so bored.
Yeah, it definitely improved my like eating situation, so that was definitely a good move. But.
Heard that.
There's definitely silver linings here and there. Okay, so we are so excited to have you on. Thank you for joining us and sitting at the remote whiskey and water table.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, we're going to talk about all interesting, cringy, important things in this conversation. So I kind of want, for our audience who doesn't already know you or follow you, just to kind of explain who you are, what you do, and then we'll kind of get into it from there.
Yeah, so I guess the main thing I do is the She Rates Dogs account, which I started like a year and a few months ago, and that grew to 100,000 followers after a month. So that like quickly became the main thing I did, even though I was just like doing comedy and stuff on my own before that. But She Rates Dogs is sort of just like a comedic, but also serious sometimes platform for girls to like anonymously be able to share their experiences, which I think is good just because when girls were doing it before, a lot of the time it was just like seen as wanting attention or like wanting proof that people want them or like, I don't know, just like a lot of different reasons. So they actually really prefer just being able to be anonymous and be like, this happens and stuff like that. But a lot of time it's also just really funny, like exchanges. Like they're not all like terrible. So it's kind of like a meme page with like a social purpose, I guess.
Okay.
And then, on my personal accounts, I just make stupid jokes.
But so you grew your personal Twitter account before you even had the She Rates account, right?
I think that had like 80,000 followers before She Rates Dogs was created, and She Rates Dogs surpassed it in like a month and a half. Yeah. That's
crazy.
A little hurtful, but like, I was kidding. It wasn't hurtful. I was excited, but it was weird. Like if I had known it was going to blow up that much, like it wouldn't have had that name. Like if I had the foresight, like to know that this is what I was going to be doing, like the beginning would have been different. Like, oh, this is going to be my business. Like,
right.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
hey, I mean, everything for a reason. Maybe that's why it took off, you know? Who's to
And I
say?
remember we had that conversation when you named it She Rates Dogs, because obviously like we have the mutual friend Matt, and I thought it was like so genius because like it went from like we rate like actual animals to like, you know, dogs as
and that's
men.
like,
We get the analogy, but I think it's so clever.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it as like as a joke, just for the initial thing. The reason that like in the future it's become troublesome is just because like if I just want to post like a funny conversation, people think that I'm like still saying that they're really bad like animals or something like that.
Right.
Like, so
Like,
it's not just
a negative connotation.
So it's basically like anything I post, people expect to be really bad because of the dog thing. You know what I mean? Also, I got one random DM one time about how I was like hurting the image of dogs by like,
Oh, I could see that. I could see how people would like,
what is
it's a leap. It's a leap. But
like a PETA thing, I guess. I don't know. I was like, I promise no one's like looking at like a Rottweiler differently now. Like,
right?
That is
They're
interesting.
like, that Rottweiler sent one of my friends
like
a terrible text.
Yeah, I don't know. Doing some bad in the world.
So what actually like inspired the account? Like how was the idea conceived?
It's weird because when I look back at it now, it was like so much smaller in my head than like what it became. I wasn't like, I'm going to do this really big thing and it's going to be like, it's going to blow up and whatever. It was sort of just like, why do we always talk about how girls are crazy, but never why? Or like, why is it like weird? Like, why? I don't know. I was like, I feel like everyone shares these experiences and we don't talk about it enough because we kind of didn't at that point. Like all the stereotypes were just that girls were crazy or that like those kinds of things. I think it's a little different now. Like I think the internet sort of caught on. But yeah, it was just like, God, men have been shitty to me. And like, I think a lot of the time girls like to interact with She Rates Dogs because they thought something was wrong with them and they didn't realize that it happened to everybody. They're like, why do I attract such like horrible people in my DMs or like in my dating life? And they're like, oh, never mind. There's the thing.
So you just like had and you just had the idea one day, like I'm just gonna take all of these screenshots and just post them anonymously.
Yeah, I think I actually like saw one of Matt's posts and was in a like something shitty had just been said to me type thing when I saw like a We Rate Dogs thing. And I was like, you know, it'd be funny. Like if this was like a joke. And I think I like saved the handle on Twitter when I had the idea and then didn't actually make it for like a month later because I was like, but then I got in a fight with a boy and I was like really bored. So I ended up just like actually doing it and be like, follow this account. And then people did. And I was like, oh, fuck. Wait, can I say the fuck word?
Yes.
Cool.
Fuck shit, bitch.
All the fuck words.
I was wondering that when I got some of those like answers to the question on my story. I was like, a lot of these have bad words, but
oh yeah, no. We're rated R sometimes.
Cool.
So we were doing some kind of research. We found some press. There was an article that said She Rates Dog gained 50,000 followers within 2 days.
Yeah,
that is literally fucking insane.
I mean,
it's wild.
It's crazy. Anything I post on that account gets over 1 million impressions, like without fail. Like it's just, I mean, well, Twitter's different because there's a repost option. So like, whereas you could have a huge following on Instagram and like a lot of people follow you and see stuff on Twitter, there's like a higher chance that you can get on more people's pages, I think. So it's just like even though there's less people on Twitter, it's like a different kind of growth when you can just retweet.
Totally. Yeah.
The viral ability.
Mm-hmm.
And was it,
go ahead.
Was it like personal experiences that like led you to like that inspired you to make the account as well? Because I'm sure like, I mean, we do see it here and there that like, you know, girls would go out there and post their screenshots, but I'm just curious because I'm sure like you had to reach like a point where it was like you were just kind of fed up and
I would
post these things.
I would say a combination of DMs and like actual relationships, like or like things in real life. I also like I worked at bars, so guys were annoying. Like
Oh,
I saw shitty
totally.
things. I was in college. Like I mean, most of my experiences at that like time were in not the best experiences with men, and I was like an internet person, so I did get like a lot of crappy DMs.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah.
worse than now. I think people are more scared of me now that they know what I do. So like
Ah,
my
I love
DMs when I had like less than half of my following, like when I had like 80,000 followers, were worse like than now with
Yeah.
like 230,000 followers on my personal. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
really
no.
funny.
Crazy.
Because they know not to fuck with you, or like they know what's
It's a
happening.
bigger risk. It's a bigger risk.
It's funny, even with the podcast, like I know Jess has had friends who like something happens and then they're like, oh fuck, am I gonna end up on the podcast?
Don't
Like
put that on
are you gonna talk shit about this? Like
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's funny.
yes, of course.
I mean, it scares boys for sure, but like also,
Mhm.
I've like asked guys that I've like dated or talked to, whatever, if it was like a scary thing for them, and they're like, "Well, I don't ever say any of the kinds of things that you post on there, so I'm not
Right,
really worried."
exactly.
Yeah. I'm not a fucking crazy narcissist
Yeah.
psycho.
I mean, it is
So-
pretty extreme, and they're all anonymous on She Rates Dogs
Right.
for a number of reasons.
So when you first launched, like in just over a month, the account amassed 126,000 followers. You were featured in like Mashable, Cosmopolitan, Funny or Die, like all this press. And then you also released a merch line, which was so successful. This is what I read. So successful that you got flagged for fraud.
Oh, I forgot about this. I think like Shopify. Yeah, like Shopify like held the money for a while because they're like, something's going on here. Like
They're like, this
That
is just
is-
money laundering.
Yeah.
yeah, it was
That is-
weird. I mean, the merch did really well. I think it's just because it was so new and people felt like they were a part of it and they were like excited because they'd been maybe like waiting for something like that in their lives, or it just felt like a community. And then when I did merch, I was like, okay, and then I dropped out of college. So
And
yeah,
then,
that was like a month after making the She Rates Dogs account.
and then one thing led to another, and I dropped out of college. I love it. So, like, obviously, when you started the account, you had no idea what was ahead of you. So, like, it's safe to say the massive success was not something you expected.
No, I definitely didn't like create the account and be like, after weekend, this is going to have 50,000 followers. Like, I thought I would maybe do it for a couple days and like make a point maybe, and then like go about my normal business. Like,
And why do you feel, I mean, aside from like, why do you feel just personally that like it took off like it did?
I think because just like women do want to talk about it without being like accused of wanting something else. And that's like as serious as like legal cases to like as small as just like being treated shittily or like constantly having to see bad DMs. And I think it's funny because guys' responses to the She Rates Dogs account is like, this is so depressing. I can't even look at it because it's so sad that guys are like that. And girls are like, no, it's funny. We've been dealing with this our whole lives. Like we're not sad about it because like this is life.
Like, welcome to the club where like it doesn't phase us anymore type shit.
Truly. And honestly, like even just from a personal standpoint, like I honestly, I go through, like, I don't go on all the time, but like I will save it and then I'll wait for like a bunch to be uploaded on the account and then I'll go in. And like, dude, it makes me feel so much better knowing that so many other girls are like literally receiving the same messages that I am. And it's crazy because like you get a message from a guy on a dating app and you decide that you're not into him or something, and then he like sends you 12 messages and it's like, why the fuck aren't you responding to me? And you're like, oh my god, am I doing something wrong? Like am I losing my mind, or is this guy fucking crazy? And then you go on the account and you see that hundreds of women have had shared experiences.
Because they do like sometimes trick you into thinking like you gave off the wrong impression, you did something wrong, you posted something that made people think a certain way about you, and like when you actually see that they just say that to anyone and like everyone else is being like, that's so dumb, it like kind of validates you a little bit. Like I think the comment
100%.
section and the responses to She Rates Dogs posts a lot is like part of what helps people to be like, oh no, that behavior was fucked up, or like that kind of thing. Like when we talk about the more serious like abusive relationships and stuff like that, I think that's the biggest thing for people who've like only been hearing one like person in their relationship's narrative about like how what they're doing is okay and like it's their fault or like whatever. But when they see like 100 comments to a post that reminds them of their relationship being like, that's so fucked up, that's not normal or okay, it's kind of like sometimes what you need to see.
Yeah, and
it's
also
validating.
it's validating. I think girls feel heard, you know, and it's a sense of like community too, because it's like when you see when you see like that many people are also dealing with that same type of behavior, it's like, yeah, you feel less singled out and you feel validated. And also, not everyone has, you know, a best friend or a group of girlfriends to be like,
that's true.
was I out of line? So like having that account and being able to like kind of have that community and that support is really cool.
Yeah. Or they've like gotten to the point where they are scared to talk to their friends about their relationship because they know what they're going to say.
Right. Very true.
Yeah, I also feel like it also gives women an opportunity to see messages that are being sent, and then like maybe they never thought too much of it, or like they kind of blame themselves for the situation, and then they get to see like hundreds of comments of girls being like, this isn't okay, like I went through the same thing. And I think what I've seen a lot of on your account is girls responding to the messages in like such eloquent and powerful ways. And it every time it leaves me so inspired because these messages that I get upset me so much that oftentimes I just block them because I'm like, I can't argue with these narcissists. I can't argue with these psychopaths. Like, as much as I want to like be like,
Clap
no,
back.
you're wrong, you can't gaslight me. But it's like seeing how these girls respond is so inspiring. And it's just like, I love that this account is like shedding light on women taking back their power.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like such shitty content, but such an uplifting community. Like the screenshots,
it's contradicting in a way.
Yeah, like the screenshots would maybe make you sad. Like going through the submissions makes me sad, but like the responses are really like powerful and like helpful.
Yeah, and just seeing women stick up for themselves in general is just like, you know, it makes you proud to be one and embarrassed. You know, not to generalize men, but you know, it's not making them look too great.
I mean,
no, I know. I mean, especially when I'm getting like 1,000 of them a day. Like it's, I mean, like
how do you sort through them?
I mean, I don't go through all of them is the thing. Like, and also some days I don't feel like mentally stable enough to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't post the most like depressing ones or like the most like I try to either have a purpose to have it be like different in a way or like funny. And so like there's a lot that are just like kind of the same thing or kind of just like too sad or like not something that should be on Twitter or like
yeah,
you know, like it's a lot of the time not other people's business. I don't know. So like I don't always go through the DMs if I'm not happy, but yeah, I'll do it when I can, and then sometimes I'll like stock up and like save some that I know will be good. I think I've had someone like help me with DMs before, but it just wasn't as good, I guess. I don't know. I just like I think I might have my friend Matt do it just because we have like the same sense of things.
Yeah, I think. I think
he's a cutie.
Yeah, I think it's about understanding like the nuances, you know, and having a pulse on what is appropriate, what makes sense, what our culture is kind of into right now, like especially like our age of women and like what's relatable to them and things like that. So I think it's smart for you to be
your
picky
vision.
about it.
It's your vision, and it's like it's your baby at the end of the day. It's like, you know, it blew up because you were able to kind of bring your own like comedic like spin
and
on it.
I've never had anyone else like post, like they would like go through and like send me some that they thought were good, and then I'd be like like a lot of the time they'd maybe go through like 60, send me 6, and I didn't like any of the ones that they sent me, and I was like, this is just not like working out at the end of the day. But
I just think it's like, I don't know. I think it's something that everyone goes through. It's super relatable. Like every girl has had a shitty conversation with a guy that makes them feel crazy. Like, and they're left sitting there like, what the fuck? What even was that? Like, you know, and you need somewhere to vent. And I think that is definitely one of like the major reasons why this blew up the way it did and why so many girls are just so here for it. Cause it's just like, we're tired of the shit. We're just like, no, like fuck that shit. We're not here for it. We're putting you on blast. Like,
and I think girls are pretty open about talking about their crazy, like with what we posted about talking today. Like girls will be like, okay, yeah, like I did this. And guys are like, I don't know. I never did anything. Like I was good.
Right. Like we own up to it. And men are like, no, I'm not crazy. You are.
Yeah, because women like understand that like they're okay, not to generalize. We're just before I continue. Like women like understand that they can act crazy and do crazy things. These men are just fucking crazy. Like they don't have the separation of self and emotion. It's just they are. And it's crazy.
Also, I think their egos are sorry.
I was going to say the same thing.
Not generalizing men. This is not everyone. These are just the dogs that
I'm not a sexist. However, men. ...
But however, the dogs who are in these screenshots, you know, I think a lot of it, they just, dude, as soon as they get their ego bruised just a tiny bit, their tail goes up, their ears are up, and they're
like, you have to not even be a human anymore because you have hurt me a little bit. So I need to degrade you to the point where
it's totally an ego thing. Like
it is like. It's nauseating. Like, dude, you posted. I was okay. Ask Olivia. I was on FaceTime with her yesterday, and we were going over like some of the tweets, and I was like, dude, I'm getting nauseous because
I was like, you need to just stop looking at them. Like, I'm cutting you off. Stop.
It gets to a pit in my stomach. Yeah, right. And it's so crazy. Like you posted something from like a Reddit channel, and it was like this guy.
The butthole and the vagina hole too close together. Yeah,
like these people walk this earth. They roam the earth. Like I just don't understand. It's really like
understand.
I think Reddit is even like much darker than even what I post. Like
I'm sure.
I've accidentally gotten into holes. Also, sometimes if I'm on an incel or like whatever forum, I will like look up my name just to make sure they don't know about me because I'm scared.
Because they're crazy. Like,
do you ever? Is that like a serious concern of yours? Do you ever get serious hate from men? Like, have you gotten attacked?
I haven't been attacked like physically in person.
No, like, not physically.
I get death threats a lot, yeah. Like, or like a lot of, most days. There's only one time that I actually like went to the police and
so casually. I get death threats a lot.
Okay, but like it's been a lot. Like at this.
Oh my god!
But at the same time, they're not going to do anything, and they can't find me. I like drop lying hints about where I live and stuff. Like I'll like say online that I'm on like the 6th floor of my apartment, looking out the window, and my apartment doesn't have 6 floors. Like I drop like I'm always thinking ahead.
I feel that.
I love that.
But I did go to the police one time, and they. Like his first question was like asking like, what kind of photos do you post? And then was like, well, if you want to have an internet presence, this is going to keep happening. And I was like, this is so cliche. Like this is such a like thing that like I wouldn't actually think would really happen. And it was in Arizona. So I think Arizona police are like especially shitty, but yeah, I was like, okay.
That is a whole other motherfucking conversation.
It's a whole other thing.
Whole other thing.
I can't believe that. Well, I mean, I can, unfortunately. I very well can believe that. What was the situation in which you had to bring it to the cops? Like someone was just like threatening you?
Yeah, I don't even think that this one was related to the SRD account. This one was just like a guy on my personal. He sent me something really sexual. I blocked him like I always do when anyone says anything sexual to me. And then someone else DM me being like, hey, this guy's tweeting about how he's going to come find you. He like tweeted that he's flying to Arizona. Like he's tweeted all of this like specific shit and like whatever. And then it just freaked me out because like he like tweeted
it
like
would
the
freak
town I
anyone
lived
out.
in, and like it was like more specific than the other threats.
Yeah.
Like, and he was going off like on his actual timeline, even not just like, I'm gonna find you, bitch. Like, it was, I don't know. But nothing ever happened.
Keep that motherfucking thing on me.
Facts.
Trapped.
It's time to hire security.
Yeah, so that's shitty. I'm sorry you have to go through that, but it makes sense because you're putting men on blast. It's going to hurt their egos even more. And I'm sure, you get some sort of hate from men, even just like comments like he's just shitting on the account or whatever it may be. Or, I think it's also funny when men are surprised that women are intelligent or,
or can make jokes.
Or multifaceted or funny or whatever it is. And, you being a beautiful girl, young lady, do you feel like people are ever like offended by the fact that you're also witty and smart and multifaceted?
Well, anytime that like one of my tweets end up on like an Instagram meme page, all of the comments are pretty much like they don't want to believe it's a joke. They take it seriously. Like even something as stupid as like
because you're so sad, like you're so satirical. That's why
I tweeted just found out about taxes. Not for me, thanks though. And then like someone posted it on their meme page. All the comments are like, she's gonna go to jail. Like fucking idiot. That mommy and daddy pay for everything. That's why she doesn't pay tax. I was like, it's a joke. You follow a joke meme page. They posted a joke. Like you're assuming it's not one. But that happens anytime anything's posted. But also sometimes I like very much pretend to be like I've tweeted once.
You pretend like you're serious, yeah.
I tweeted once being like, it'd be so cool if there was something that heated up food, like something that made food warmer than it is. I'm so tired of getting salmonella, like just like really obvious things, but some of them aren't that.
I mean, yeah, we're tweeting out to the lowest denominator here sometimes, so people are going to assume strange things. But you also post some political stuff. Like we kind of peeped that you get a little political on there. Is that something that you get a lot of hate for?
Yeah, I mean, being political is pretty like necessary to me though, because it would just be pointless to me to like have a following and then not be like, hey, like they're trying to ban abortion in 5 states right now. Like, here's the ways that you can help. Like, I mean, if I can reach 1 million people at the click of a button, like I'm not gonna not like, I don't understand why like a YouTuber or someone would never take a stance on anything. Cause I feel like you'd be kind of sad even just to like if your sense of self-worth was literally just from like likes or numbers and like you couldn't think about I did this good thing this year, like I did this good thing this month or like something like that. Like I feel like that's kind of necessary for people in our space to like not just think about numbers or like their appearance or like their jokes or whatever.
Yeah. That's something that Jess and I, also deal with, just being influencers and having some sort of platform. It's like where, we want to be professional. And we've talked about this a lot in our past episodes, but it's like we want to be professional and appeal to brands, but it's also like we're not going to not use our voice for something that we feel strongly about. And I also saw something in one of your articles that was like, in a lot of situations, politics comes down to life or death for a lot of people. Like,
yeah.
So when it is that serious, it's something that you're going to speak up about.
I mean, especially right now, like politics are just, I mean, they're more, well, I guess no, not more, because we always say that things are worse now than they were 50 years ago. 50 years ago, things were really bad. But the last 10 years, I guess, compared to like what's been happening the last couple of years, just like with immigration or like abortion laws and stuff like that, just being worse than ever. It's like, yeah, I mean, it is life or death for a lot of people.
It is. And
it's not.
Like, I feel like even just given like our current situation, like we've literally seen that it's life or death, like the decision that the people in power make directly affect, our day-to-day lives. And, it's unfortunate that we had to see this through a literal pandemic. Like people died because people in power didn't take, action as quickly as, they needed to. But
And to be honest, a lot of my followers are white women, and white women are the demographic that needs to step up in voting a lot right now. Like, honestly, that's like a big like purpose
for the people in the back.
in my account. It's like if white women were voting more and voting better, like that would change everything. So that's a lot of my base and a lot of why I talk about stuff.
Yeah, totally. And that's like, totally give kudos to you, because there are a lot of people who are scared. They don't want to lose followers. You know, they're just scared, I think. And I think if you don't speak up, you're a part of the problem, right? Like,
100%.
So claps for that, snaps for that. Love that.
Snaps.
There's also this whole like Me Too movement and violence against women. And that's like obviously something that you care deeply about. You're kind of like shining a light on that in a way. Yeah, and I just think, you know, online harassment is real. It's out there. Just because it's virtual doesn't mean it's not, you know, happening or that it's not real. So I mean, I don't know what my question is again. I did this last episode too.
No, I could talk about that a little bit, because I think that She Rates Dogs is like sort of a different version of the Me Too movement. Like, not different version of it, like it's the same thing, but like a part under it, where it's like people who weren't necessarily comfortable just like tweeting out what happened to them with a hashtag, but like anonymously want to say something, or like people who aren't celebrities but just want to talk about how normal it is, like just to a college person. Like anyone can have like power over like another person. It's not just like a really powerful like producer or something like that.
Right.
So I think it's important, because I think a lot of the need for belief like would just come from seeing how often it is and how it happens in like normal situations too, which is also part of just like She Rates Dogs, like being for normal people.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like you're really shedding light on like literally like the like violence against women, not only like in a, you know, via a chat or a DM, because like that's how it starts. But you know, these things often snowball. Like if they're so entitled, these men, to like message a girl and like threaten them via a message, like it would only take a certain situation and you know, the perfect storm to get them to, you know, physically hurt someone. I even saw you repost another thing, and it was like, maybe I think I maybe saw you post this, and I just threw my pen across the room. But it was this guy who had posted on a Reddit channel, and he was like, "Lately, I've been following girls, not because I want to do anything." He was like, not because I want to do anything, but just because I like the power I feel when I know that they're scared and looking over their shoulder. And it's
that
like,
was a while ago.
Yeah. I mean, you know, loyal fan since day one. But like, what the fuck? Like, it's so wild. And I think it's just so important that you're literally showing people that this happens. Like, men think like this. It's not irrational for women to be cautious and, you know, scared. Like, even myself, like when I walk my dog in the morning, I don't live in like a super great area in Miami. I've spoken about this, you know, multiple times before. I constantly look over my shoulder, and you know, and I think it's important that people understand that this happens, and you know, women aren't crazy, women aren't overly cautious. Like, I put on layers, and like I wouldn't go out and walk my dog in the morning just in shorts. Like, I won't. I have to put on baggy sweatpants, I have to put on a baggy t-shirt, and I'm putting on a hat and sunglasses and like trying to attract as like little attention as possible.
Yeah, and I think it's important for guys to see it too, because they can see the statistic of like the majority of women experience sexual assault, but still never believe that like any of their friends would do that. But like if you're seeing like this unlimited source of like that being the case, I think I've gotten messages from even like guys too, being like, this has helped me understand like what my girl like friends have like told me about, and like just to see the scope of it, I guess. Like, it's important for guys to also, because like a lot of guys aren't like that, so they don't realize, but like it helps them understand too and like believe better.
Yeah.
Because it's like ignorance, like they were kind of like, they just didn't know, you know, and ignorance is bliss. And it's like, once I think it's important, like once their eyes are opened up to this, like they can start I mean, they can start being an ally better, you know, for lack of a better words. They can start looking out for their female friends. They can start stepping up and like not tolerating certain behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I also think there's something like not in a bad way, but it's also just like the privilege that men have, like just for being men and not having to think about going to bring trash out to the back of the building, you know, at night. Like that's something I just don't do. I will never do. Like, because that's an unnecessary risk that I just don't have to take if I don't have to. So like that's something that my fiance just doesn't have to think about. And I've had to remind him before, like, hey, like must be nice to not even have to worry about it. But like, you know, of course, again, not generalizing, men get raped too, and sexually harassed. But I just think that we are so conditioned to cover ourselves or to, you know, avoid danger in public or avoid strangers. Like it's so like second nature for a lot of us. And I think it's a privilege for men to not even like think twice about going somewhere alone or what they wear, you know?
And ignorance is real. Like it's like also a valid excuse because you just don't know until you know in a lot of like situations. Like, I mean, it's important though to like also seek out people who are different than you and get their opinions on things and like learn because it's like
totally.
I mean, and I feel like that goes for, you know, beyond like a man reaching out to a woman and saying that. Like it just, you know, it goes, you know, we have to. I was definitely, you know, much less aware of my privilege, you know, when I was younger, and then as I started, you know, even Twitter was like huge for me because I started like, you know, gaining friends in different minority groups, which absolutely opened my eyes to the different things that people go through.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing about like leaving your hometown or like even just being online. Like I think the internet can give you like a very quick crash course on culture or like things that you don't realize. My high school didn't teach about like any big historical like issues or like never mentioned blackface or like any kind of like I don't know. I'm not thinking of like all the words right now, but they didn't educate like in actual schools on that kind of thing. Like you had to look at like the internet to like figure that stuff out or like reach out to other people to figure that stuff out. And like you just have to.
Right. Well, and that's
I
whole
thought
other
feminism was stupid. Like I said that in an article recently. I thought feminism was stupid when I was like 18 because I just didn't even like
understand.
Yeah, you just didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a whole other conversation about like the education system and what goes in our history, what goes into our history textbooks. There's a lot they leave out. But also, I'm just out of curiosity, I just wrote down my notes. Like, has seeing all these submissions and these stories, like I know you mentioned you don't really read them when you're like not in the best headspace, which I 100% understand because it's heavy and it's hard not to take on that energy sometimes. Has seeing all these stories made you act any differently towards men or relationships or like just texting guys? Have you approached things differently?
Well, so I don't really like, I don't date very much, but I never really did. So, but like, I don't know. I guess when I do go out, I just like don't talk to boys. But that's not because of she rates dogs. I just like I'm not attracted to people until I know like a lot about them. Like, like I have to like be very sure of like who they are as a human being before I even like consider it.
Good for
like,
you.
Any guy could come up to me at a bar and be like, hi, and I just like wouldn't be into it until I've like deep searched their like Twitter account. Like
ran 3 background checks.
Yeah, because like I don't know, and that might be partially because of shared dogs, but I've also kind of always been like that.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I love that.
I don't know. I mean, I've always liked nice boys, so I've never like there wasn't like a turning point of like I run shared dogs now, and now I'm not gonna date fuck boys because I just never did. Like I always just thought that those guys were
makes fun of us.
Weak.
Honestly,
really.
How do you? Okay, just to wrap up the conversation, I guess about just the
More
good and
things?
well, yeah. I mean, I feel like there is kind of a silver lining to your account, as dark and as cynical as it can be, I feel like you do have a platform to kind of combat these harassment issues. Is there anything that you have like in the future maybe, or any ideas of maybe what you want to do to further combat that type of issue?
I have talked about this before. I mean, like, there obviously like 10% of my merch goes to RAIN, which is the organization against
Love that.
abuse, sexual abuse. And then like anytime there's something like actually really serious that someone DMs me about, like they'll talk about like racism or sexism from like a professor, that's when I'll actually do something, and like with their face and their name, which is very rare for me. Or like if they're in a position of power, like a high school teacher, like those are the times that I've actually like outed someone,
Stepped up, yeah.
and I don't like doing that, but like when it's that serious and like people are being affected in those ways, I just like have to.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
it always works without fail.
Yeah. How has that worked for you? Like, you know, even like with like, I mean, even, I don't know, having people believe you, or like the legality of it, like how does that kind of work for you?
Well, oh God, I'm trying to remember the specifics of that like last professor situation. I sort of forget what I've done the week before every new week. But that one was, I mean, I was invited by the New York Times for that one because they were like writing in spray paint on the college walls and stuff there. And like the school had to like make it so that he had a double grader because he was on furlough, and that like someone else like did the grading for him. He had to blind grade, so he couldn't see like the names of anyone on his thing. Anyone could switch out of his class like at any point in the semester. Like they changed that guy's stuff like completely because of it all.
And what had he done? Just like harass someone
for
online?
those who don't know.
I might have to Google it. She rates stars.
You're good. Do your thing.
No, I love that you use the account. There's been a few situations where you've exposed men and, you know, put them on blast, and I just think that's fucking
we're
rad.
here for it.
Yeah, I think it's rad.
Oh, first he like argued that gay men shouldn't be teachers. He referred to women as the weaker sex, like on Twitter. Like this wasn't even like private stuff. It was like there were receipts. He said colleges have lower standards for accepting Black students than white students, and had been posting these online on like a blog for years. And like
what an idiot.
So students had been reporting him, but there wasn't enough hype around it for the school to do anything. So I had to. So I had to.
Had to take matters into my own hands.
It's not hard work, but it's honest work.
I know. It was really weird because the dean actually was like, his thoughts are disgusting. We wish we could fire him. Like they didn't just like give like a nice like, we don't agree. They were like, this is vile. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
I just don't even understand what university?
Sorry, University of Indiana, Bloomington. Yeah. So that was wild. I forgot. He did everything wrong. He wasn't just sexist. He was also homophobic and racist and like just everything.
Oh, see, so he deserved, and you did that. Like that must feel great. Like
anyone can get out of his class now.
Motherfucking superhero.
I mean, homeboy should be fired. Like, I don't even know how, like, he was able to post these things without that being brought to them. I mean, I'm sure it was. I mean, this goes beyond even homeboy's issues. This goes into, like, systemic, like, issues from universities and schools not, like, taking action. But that's wild.
And then the other one, I think it was, like, so there was a teacher of, like, a high school who was DMing girls, like, right after they graduated. And, like...
God.
Would show up to this girl like worked at Hooters, said like gross things to her, and like it was like a thing within their town that like they started talking about it, but they had like a petition to get him fired, and it only had like a couple hundred signatures. So I was like, boop, retweet.
Yeah, oh my God, I love it.
So he was gone within a day, but
I love it. So good.
So those are things. And then, I mentioned like there was the Bachelorette drama. So when there was like a new season of the Bachelorette, there was like one girl who tweeted her like screenshots with this contestant. He was really gross to her. She like sent it to me and was like, look at this. I was like, oh my God. So I retweeted it. And then they like removed him from the show. And then another producer of the show DM'd me asking like, do you have information on anyone else? And like, I started telling them stuff. I was like, oh, I got information about this like previous contestant. And they were like, oh, we heard that he was weird. That's why we didn't use him as the Bachelor, even though people really liked him. Like, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that they like don't.
Spill the tea, sis.
So if you're like, why didn't my fave become the Bachelor? They maybe did like an extra deep background check for that stage and realized that like they were getting like gross stuff about him.
Ooh, that is
crazy.
Juicy.
I know.
I think it's dope that the producers are taking that like
into
account because
and Demi tweeted me from that like Hannah's is like because she was like, if you know stuff you better tell me. I was like
shut up.
Yeah. And then they had the whole segment on that show because of that, with Demi coming and like spying on the guys to see if they were shitty after that.
Hell yeah. What?
Dude, that's awesome.
That's great.
So crazy.
I do this too, but not on a show.
So crazy. That's awesome though. I mean, I think there's power in that, you know. And also we saw some stuff about how people were leaving comments or like they'll DM you saying like, thank you so much for this. You just inspired me to leave my abusive relationship.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't obviously like post about that because it'd be weird if I was like, this week 5 girls DM me about leaving their abusive, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's private, but like it is really cool because like, I don't know, that's like why I keep doing it, even though it's like depressing sometimes. But like getting those messages is really nice because I mean, I get a plethora of messages and some of them are pretty negative. So that's like this counteracting stuff that, and it really just is because they're finally like seeing other people talk about how like those actions aren't normal or okay, and they've been so convinced that it is, or like they just needed like some kind of community. So yeah, cool. The comments on She Raised Dogs post are really nice to each other, so I think it helps a lot.
That's amazing.
It's really funny because I made this tweet that was a joke in like 3 years ago. That was like, having a kid sounds hard. How do you make sure they have just enough childhood trauma that they turn out funny? And there's this like group of Stan Twitter that's like hell-bound on saying I'm an abuser and like that I promote abuse because of that tweet. But like meanwhile, my actual like life is like stopping abuse. But like because of that, I don't know, Stan Twitter's crazy. But
oh my gosh, that is a whole world that I just know nothing about.
You shouldn't, and you don't want to.
Okay.
I mean, dude, actually, when you retweeted that the tweet about me shaving my head, I'm convinced that's what made it pop off because it ended up getting like 60,000 likes, and it was 100% because you retweeted it. I was like, girl, you know what you're doing. I was like, you're making me pop off.
Because I saw how many likes it had, and I was like, okay, but if people saw it, like, it was such a cool thing. Like, that was awesome.
It's like a superpower. You're just like, boop.
I just go retweet. No, but I mean, even it's not even just like for attention, but like other people seeing that like inspires them to do stuff like that. Like people seeing you like get that much money raised for something is like inspiring. Like, oh, I could do something like that. And I think that's like things people need to see a lot of the time.
Yeah, even like fuck beauty standards. She's gotten so many inspiring messages saying just like, you've made me feel so much better about myself because you shaved your head. It's like things you don't even think about have a real influence on people. It's crazy.
A girl from that tweet responded and was like, this just inspired me to shave my head. And I was like, hell yeah,
brother. Let's go.
I was like, here for this. I mean, but on the other end, and I mean, those messages really truly are the ones that like inspire me and like make my day. But like on the other end, like I do get hate messages from men telling me that like I look like a lesbian or a dyke, and I'm like, hell yeah, I do. I'm like, I'm like, I don't need you to tell me like what I look like,
perfect.
Who I look like,
just what I was going
for.
Like,
exactly. I'm like
nailing it.
I'm like, you think I look like a man? Great. Like I don't need you. You're fine.
Like,
I don't attract you anymore. Perfect. Just what I was aiming for.
Yep. I'm like, I'm here for my ladies. They like the hair. I'm here for it. Like, but yeah,
we wanted to talk a little bit about dating apps. I don't know if you are on any dating apps.
Absolutely not. I would never in my life.
No shade. No shade
No shade to dating apps, but no, there's also here's the thing. It's like there's enough people who know about the She Rates Dogs account that there's also always the question of like if a guy would think it was like a bragging point, like, or like if they were hateful, or like if they were like, there's
it
just
would
like
give them an incentive, kind of, or whatever.
Yeah,
they
I
wanna
just
do.
like to. Yeah, I keep my dating life minimal. I wouldn't use dating apps. There's just like a lot of reasons. I just don't like talking to people in general. I don't reply to DMs or use dating apps or meet or go out. So
I love it. Just a hermit crab. You know what?
no,
Look at
but
you.
I'm good though. I've got a good thing going. So
Okay, here for that. But because I say that because a lot of the submissions are like Tinder conversations or like Hinge conversations, right? That's like where a lot of these cringy things happen.
The bio says it's like exes, but it's technically like anyone's ex, or maybe no one's ex ever, and that's why they're so mad. But it's a lot of dating apps because, that's like the whole thing of like how I started with it, not expecting it to be as big, and then I was like, oh, there's actually a bigger scope. It's not just shitty exes; it's just like anyone dating,
just like
in
shitty
general,
men.
or on the like on the street, or like anyone. It's not even dating. It's someone following you 3 steps behind. Just kidding.
Right.
Seriously.
But not. That's something we just read a thing about.
And I think it's because men get so confident behind a screen, you know? Like, I truly don't believe that these are things that men would say in a million years to a woman's face because they're shrimp dick, wet noodle pussies, you know? But like, and that's why it's like so upsetting sometimes.
Have to like
right?
censor all of that.
No, and it's crazy because like I oftentimes like I do feel very compelled to like respond back and be like, who the fuck do you think you are, you know? And I know it's totally not worth my time, and it's scary because you know you never know if they're gonna kind of like see what they did as, you know, wrong or negative, or if they're gonna go the complete opposite side of the spectrum and be like, I'm gonna find you and eat your firstborn child.
Yeah.
And like that's
another reason I keep them anonymous too, is like if they found out about it being posted and then wanted like
seek revenge.
Or like because they would obviously knew who sent it in or whatever. But like, I mean, even though they are seen by a lot of people, if there's like no name and no picture, like no one's going to be sending it to that specific person. So it's still a pretty low chance that they would see it. I don't know. But if they do, like, I think in most situations that's good.
Yeah. If they do, they get called out on their shit and they get embarrassed, hopefully. Like that's the point. So put you on blast. So you stop talking to women like this.
But it's like, I mean, I'm sure these, like, because we see it in the comments sections. Like sometimes there's like, you know, one rogue man will like, you know, have a field day in the comments, like saying stupid, ignorant shit. And it's like, no matter how much, you know, you try to like bring this to their attention, it's like some of these people are just literally so twisted.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, there is a big portion of them that like know what they're doing and they just like want the attention. But at the same time, like sometimes I'm like, do I care that it's what they want if I'm like making a point that like I think is important? Like, do I really care about like their satisfaction over like, well, that actually is a common way people feel, so now I'm going to use this to like make a point about it. Right. I mean, it's always a toss up. Like sometimes it's best to just ignore them. Also, I hate how much they enjoy being blocked because it's like, it doesn't mean anything to me to block you. I'm just like 2 seconds of my day. You're off of my thing. I never see you again. Like,
and they're like, haha, owned.
Yeah. I'm like, no, like just now like, you can't comment on my stuff anymore. Like, and be creepy.
I mean, but the thing is, it's crazy though, because I've done that. Like I've blocked them, and because it's like, it's not like I'm even bothered, you know, it's just like, all right, like I'm going to end this here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like just not let it go any further.
They make other accounts and come for me. And I'm like, sir, what are you doing? It's crazy. I actually
Just has a way with trolls. I don't know why they just like gravitate to your end. Like I don't understand. I'll never understand.
Trolls, psychopaths, like guys. Olivia and I will like, I'll send her screenshots of like messages that I get, and she's like, either she's like, here we go again, or why do these things always happen to you? So something about my energy just attracts chaotic people. There was a guy on Whiskey and Water. It is.
Hey, it doesn't get boring. Well,
yeah, it is fun.
Definitely never a dull moment.
There was a guy on Whiskey and Water who I ended up blocking from my personal, and then went on Whiskey and Water and like, I don't know, kept tagging. Like he made an account that like was like his name and like the blank experience. Like started like
grow up.
It was just like just crazy weird shit.
So unhinged. They get so wrapped up in their anger. It's amazing.
It's wild. The worst, and we won't divulge too much into this, but the worst is because I feel like what other episode are we going to get a chance to talk about this? But unsolicited dick pics are just a no-go. Don't ever do it. If you're a guy, I mean, I hope a guy listening to this, like, I hope that's not on brand for you, assuming it's not. But I'm just don't. I just never.
I also get those a lot less now.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, yeah, because they know.
Or actually, there's a bad thing, though, because sometimes I've had to adjust this so many times, but girls will send me their unsolicited dick pics to be like, look at how much this sucks. I'm like, but I also hate that. Stop.
They're like, why are you going to do that to me too, sis?
You're like, sis, this is not it.
She's like, look at how shitty this was. I was so upset when I saw this dick in my DMs and then like shows me the dick. And I'm like, that's
She's
not
like,
fair.
you have to suffer with me.
Go ahead.
Maybe you don't want to know this, but one time a man's shit. Anyway, I have a good life. We can move on.
A person sent you the man's shit, or a man sent you his shit?
He sent her like a photo of his own like shit to like make some kind of point about like, I don't know, some really clever pun about like shitting on her. I don't really know. But then she wanted to share that with me.
At least like cover it with something.
Cover the shit.
Like censor it.
Cover
so
the
you don't
shit.
have that image like burned in your mind.
I know Matt Nelson and I want to do a video where we like switch accounts for a day, and like I get to read really wholesome stuff, but he has to read really horrible stuff, and I really want to save the human shit one for him.
Absolutely. Do it.
That's incredible. And I'm so here for it.
Unreal. Like I just don't know what like the logic is behind like sending someone a picture of your private part that they did not ask for. Like I'll never understand. Again, we won't go, too far down that rabbit hole, but I just had to toss it in here while we had the opportunity. Don't send me text.
A lot of rabbit holes we could go down.
So many holes.
I really don't get too many nowadays, honestly. I feel like it was definitely a thing like in the earlier stages of like the internet, I guess.
I've asked that before. I was like, has anyone else like noticed that the like dick pics are a little bit less than they were maybe a few years ago, or like
I feel like it was a thing on Snapchat because it was like a second and then I'd just be like, and just blinded by it. And that's like when we would like model on our Snapchats and like had a bunch of random followers on it. So I think that's the space it happened in most. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that in like 2015, 16.
Well, so let's leave unsolicited dick pics behind.
Yeah, and let's move on to our.
We should do the pro tip because we haven't done pro tip yet.
Oh yes. Okay. Well, I just was informed about needing to have a pro tip, but
That's my bad.
Well, I think that this is what I think this qualifies, but it's not like technically like a DIY. But
everything goes.
Okay. My pro tip is basically just like if your interest or like what you love the most isn't a career that exists already, to like just figure out a way to go for it anyway. I think a lot of the time, like when I was in college, I was really struggling. I switched majors like every 6 months, and I really couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And I think it's because what I was supposed to do was like a career that wasn't a thing already. So, and I remember my parents would always be like, you need to stop tweeting because it's like ruining your life and like all those kinds of things. But if you're like good at something and it's like you can find a way to make it profitable. And I think that that's like important for anyone to hear, like just whatever you're best at, because you're just not going to do as well in anything else or be as happy.
I love
Does that qualify? Is that a pro tip?
Totally.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And that's something we preach all the time. It's just like, kind of figuring it out and going for it. Okay, cool. Shall we get into our tea time games?
I'm so excited. I was reading these for like an hour this morning. I have so many terrifying ones.
Okay, guys. For this week, our tea time game is a game called Psycho or Power Move. It is taken, or borrowed rather, from one of our favorite podcasts, Girls Gotta Eat. Shout out Girls Gotta Eat. We love you.
We love you.
We didn't get to see your live show last month. We're sad about it.
But it, real quick, that shit is rescheduled to my birthday week in October.
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
Anyways, guys, credit, kudos, listen to Girls Gotta Eat. If you don't already, they're lit. This game is borrowed from them. Okay, so
and we felt like there was no better episode to do it on
than Michaela.
This one. So I figured, Liv, we both posted it on our story, so I think that we should read ours first, because I feel like Michaela's are probably going to be like,
yes, let's go out with a bang. I agree.
A few levels above.
Let's go out with a bang.
Well, all of my followers are used to submitting stuff, but it's always about other people. So I think that they were excited to be like, wait, this is what I've done, though.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, you go first, Jess.
Okay. There's some good ones here.
I have 3.
Okay, this girl said, she goes, haha, I put a dead rabbit in this guy's car because he was a dick. Joke's on me. I kept fucking him. Okay, and then she followed this up with, anyways, the rabbit was already dead. It was roadkill, and I just like put it in his car.
My friend in high school did this with a fish, a dead fish. This is a thing?
I love this.
Is this a thing? Ladies,
I like the fish idea because it probably smells much worse.
Let us know. Is this a thing? Have you done
putting roadkill in his car?
Am I sleeping?
Okay,
so
we have to rate it. Is it?
Well, he's still sleeping with him, so it's like it would be a power move if it was like "fuck you, dead rabbit in the car," but like.
So it's psycho. I think it's
I mean,
with dead animals, I'm gonna put in the psycho category. Okay,
it's fair.
I'm interested to see how she picked it. Like, how'd you handle it? How'd you handle the dead animal?
Did you just like? Okay,
grab it by the tail.
Okay. Did she have gloves on? Like, I have a lot of questions.
Exactly.
One of mine says, made them give me $25,000 when I caught them cheating.
Queen, absolute power move.
Power move.
Not even a question. What?
No discussion.
Oh my God, because that's like just the most desperate, weakest moment where they're like, I'll do anything. And she's like, 25,000.
Yes.
25K. Gonna pay all these credit cards real quick.
Pay up, ho. Love that for you.
So the next one that I have isn't like, it's hard. You guys will see. I think it's definitely just psycho. But she goes, I called 911 because I thought he was microwaving my dog. I was just coked out, and he was heating up her food. This one just took me for a roller coaster, so I had to share it. Although it's definitely
amazing.
I don't think it's psycho or power move. I think it's tripping balls.
Yeah, like you're just fucked up.
You're just tripping, hun.
Okay, I mean, they probably laugh about it.
I hope.
Strange.
I need to know if the cops came and what she told them.
Okay, this was submitted actually by a male. So he said, one time I thought a girl was lying to me about her age. I dug so deep I found a small article in a newspaper from 1995 where they congratulated the parents who had kids in that town. Michelle and Bill welcomed their daughter Kayla 10/23/95. So safe to say she wasn't lying about her age, but finding a newspaper from 1995 online is forever the deepest I have ever dug.
I love that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I've done that. Responsible king.
I've done that, but not dating. I did that recently because a guy said something really gross to me. So I looked up his I found all of his family members by finding an article about, Yeah, but that's psycho. But also then because I
Power
DM'd
move.
them.
Oh, so then that's a power move.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes it's like psycho before it's a power move.
Yeah.
I mean, Liv and I have shared this before, but like I got a guy in my DMs who like
Oh,
said
yes.
something like
Love this
really
story.
raunchy about my pussy.
Mm.
Like it was just so nasty, and I DM'd it to his wife.
I love
I
that.
don't know.
I think that's
Don't know
very
what you want from me.
necessary.
Wait, but you left out the part where his bio said
Like
proud father and husband.
proud father and husband. That was his bio. So.
Yeah. So,
Oh, God.
it's
Men are
so she didn't have a choice. She had to DM him or her.
Or like the dudes with like the wedding photo as their picture and they're DMing you and you're like, what is going? I don't want to
Fair.
assume.
It's literally a picture from their like ceremony
like,
like a
hey.
year ago.
Yeah. And it's like, is your picture that because your wife like is nervous and knows you're creepy? So she's like, maybe if his photo is us, then he won't be so weird, but then he still is. I don't know. I don't have all the
Lots
answers.
of questions. Okay, I think Michaela, you can read yours if you want. The rest of mine are like just really docile stuff. Like, oh, I did a stake out of his apartment looking for bitches, and I'm like,
Yeah.
sounds like a Tuesday to me.
Yeah, someone said created a Snapchat to catfish my ex and see if he'd bite. Took like 5 minutes for him to fail hard. That's a power move. That's not psycho. That's smart.
Yeah. I mean, a girl DM'd me asking me to do that a couple of days ago, like DM her boyfriend to see if he would cheat. And I was like, I'm not going to because I don't want anyone to think that I'm interested in them. But like,
but work smarter, not harder. I'm here.
There's a girl on TikTok that does that. Have
Like,
you seen that?
She'll DM girls' boyfriends.
Is it like a business? She's like, Venmo me $5 and I'll do it.
Low key,
so
except I don't think she
smart.
monetizes it. But yeah,
But to
she does that.
monetize it would be so smart.
True, very true.
Come on to something. All right,
so
let's see what you got.
This one's kind of like, it's psycho, but it's kind of cute. Okay. She said, always had my crush's fave lollipop so I could Pavlov him into associating them with me and liking me.
Genius.
That's not horrible. I kind of like it. It's cute.
That is like he's literally a dog.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like, so every time he like compliments her, she's like, do you want this lollipop?
And that's also just so like fitting for your page. Like,
I know.
Dogs.
Oh, dogs. Fuck, I didn't even think about that.
Power move.
Love it,
So
queen.
this one kind of turned into a different story, but she was like, I got my friend to text a guy while we were dating, asking him out as a test. I'm dumb. He said no, and then a month later we got in a fight, and he texted her, said he was ready to cheat on me. So me using my friend's phone, we convinced him to break up with me. And then after, my friend told him she was just joking. 5 minutes later, he called me crying. So she got her friend to test this thing while they were like happy, I guess. And like he said no. As soon as they got into a fight, he texts that friend to be like, I'm ready to cheat now. Then calls his girlfriend crying.
Oh my god.
So horrible.
That guy is just a dirtbag.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, definitely. I'm here for the testing though, because like
sometimes you just don't know.
I have mixed feelings because it's like I get that like sometimes you just like need peace of mind to like maybe just like know that they wouldn't do something like that. But also if you're like doing stuff like that, it's like unhealthy for you because you're like kind of concentrating on stuff that's going to make you like crazy and feel bad. Like I think my happiest times in life is when I don't have a burner account to stalk things that I shouldn't look at. And when I do, I'm just like letting myself be like I'm looking at stuff that I don't even need. Like I don't even gain anything from knowing about.
It's self-sabotage.
Because it makes you think about it. Like it forces you to be thinking about it.
Yeah,
but, I don't know. Where was this?
If they take
this worked out in her favor. At the end of the day, like she found out he was a scumbag, so power move.
This one's good. This one's a power move. Printed out the dick pic my manager sent me and stuck it all over the company Christmas tree.
What?
Wow.
But how do they know it's his dick? Is his face in it? Because then it just looks like a bunch of dicks on a tree.
Imagine his like
kind of be funny because it's like people don't know, but it's still horrible for him. Like
he knows.
Like he knows that everyone's looking at it.
Wow, honestly,
but
it is a bit psycho.
Every time him passing the tree and just seeing his dick like 50 times hanging off it.
No, I mean I'm sure they took it down.
Maybe I should get more information. Like, did people know that it was him? Like, did they just like?
I have questions.
Yeah, I should DM her. This one is the same girl. So ripped off a shower door and threw it at my ex when I found out he'd fucked another girl. I like this one just because of the visuals it brought me to. So like ripped off a shower.
She went full Hulk.
I don't think I could. I've been pretty angry, so.
Wow. That's impressive, honestly.
That's a power move. I would do the same thing.
I rate a power move.
Boyfriend beware.
This one's funny. My boyfriend cheated on me with a friend, so I Sharpied cunt on her car. I was 18. It haunts me.
No, I'm here for that.
Power move.
Power move. I did something very similar when
Absolutely.
I was 17.
Oh, especially in high school. I'd say that like the things that I've done that are like the craziest were absolutely in high school relationships where it like you just go off the walls.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's like no rules.
I've seen this one like before on Twitter, but like tracking their Snap score to calculate how many people they're Snapchatting, or like if it goes up this amount, but you've Snapchatted them this amount, being like
psycho. Psycho. But
no, that's one of the ones that it's like it could be anything. So you're just hurting yourself. Like I Snapchat only my friends maybe like once every 2 months because no one uses Snapchat anymore.
Yeah. And at that point, like, if you're tracking that shit, like, I don't know, I just feel like there's some larger issues at hand.
I'm trying to think, Jess, I'm trying to think if I've done any like psycho but power move shit. I don't know.
I've done psycho shit. I've absolutely done psycho. But like, okay, so because I dated this guy starting in high school, ended like, I think during my freshman year of college, and he like moved out to Arizona with me, but he cheated on me, I think like 3 years into our relationship. And after that point is when I became psycho.
I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so.
It was really bad. And also like, I obviously like should have just ended it, but I was stupid and I was just miserable for a year. But I would just like track stuff. Like he would convince me of anything though, because his phone would say like battery usage 15% on Tinder this week, and he'd be like, babe, I have no idea. My phone just must have malfunctioned. Like I don't know why I would say that. And I was like, all right, I guess I have to believe you.
Oh my God.
One of my exes came back to my dorm with a hickey on his neck and convinced me that he like hit his neck on something. And my dumbass, being in the dark place that I was, convinced myself that he wasn't lying when I know to this day that he was lying.
That's so funny because I made a post on She Rates Dogs asking for like the weirdest lies a guy has told you. And one girl said that like
that's a good question.
Her ex told him like that he dropped his lizard and it tried to catch itself by sticking its tongue at his neck to pick itself back up. And that's why he had a hickey. I'm screaming. Like a chameleon. So I don't smoke, so this one maybe doesn't hurt me as much as it might hurt someone else. But my boyfriend at the time was being a dick, so I pissed in his bong and watched him smoke a cone.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, that's gotta be So did he just pissed her off? He didn't didn't cheat on her?
I mean, the thing is that these questions, they have I think they have a small amount of characters that they can type. So I don't have a ton of context. I have the quick, like, he pissed me off, pissed in his bong, watched him smoke it. Like, that's about it.
Oh my God. If I ever pissed in Tyler's bong, he would break up with me. Like, that'd
be it. That's crazy. That's psycho. Gotta go psycho on that one.
I vote psycho.
I believe it. This one, it's not like a terrible thing, is run my fingers through the whites of my eyes to get teary-eyed before a fight so I could victimize myself. She's about to fight and she's like over in the corner, like getting her eyes like ready to start crying, and then she...
Oh my God.
That's psycho or power move?
Well, the thing is, I understand it. I just don't have to rub my eyes to...
Right.
I'm already so emotional. So, but
do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Win those battles, sis.
this guy wrote in just saying, "This is how you catch me. I won't let it happen." So like he's like, "I'm not going to answer your question. This is a trap."
Oh my god. Yes,
but now
exactly.
I want to know even more.
Now I
Right?
want to know what he's done. I think that's a good place to leave it
So
off,
good.
right?
So
Yeah.
good. Those have me dead. Okay, this was an amazing episode. Such funny but also meaningful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
So much fun.
Yeah, so glad we
Yes.
finally got to connect. I know we wanted to do this in person, but I'm glad that, we were able to do this on our remote whiskey and water table.
Yes.
If you
And
guys ever come to LA, come
absolutely.
stay with me.
Yes,
I'll be back.
absolutely. Happening. If
We're going to have to do a round 2 bars and breakfast at 3 a.m.
I'll try not to leave my credit card there this time.
We'll work on it.
If you guys love this episode, please take a screenshot, tag us, tag Michaela so we can all see you're listening and that you're enjoying it, and share with a friend. Michaela, where can people find you if they want to follow you and get more?
If you're an Instagram user, She Rates Dogs, or on Twitter, She Rates Dogs. And then, well, my personal is either Michaela Okland or Michaela Okland. So, just whatever you want to do. It's Michaela, Michaela.
Cool.
I'll be
Perfect.
tagged.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up this episode. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next week.
See you, brothers.
Bye.